I recently went through the process of getting my H1B visa stamped in my passport. So if you're on an F1 visa and you're interested in getting your H1B, or if you're currently on an H1B and you need to go through the stamping process, then this video is for you. How's it going? My name is Kieran. I came to the US as an international student athlete, and now I work as an engineer for a Fortune 500 company. There is a lot of information out there about the H1B visa and the H1B visa stamping process. However, I've only found a few videos or articles about personal experiences, so I'm here to share my personal experience. So the first thing I want to clarify is that you can get your H1B visa through two major methods. The first method is through consular processing, which is more appropriate for individuals that are outside the US. The second method is the change of status, which is more appropriate for individuals that are already in the US. So I myself, I was on an F1 visa working on my STEM OPT, and my employer's lawyers filed a change of status for me. So I went from an F1 visa to an H1B visa. The benefit of this is that I was able to start working immediately without leaving the country. So if you're changing status within the US, there's no need to leave the country and get a visa stamp. You can start working. However, if you do need to leave the US and re-enter, you have to get a stamp. So one thing that's really important to note is that your visa stamp is like a key. Like, you need that key to get into the country. However, your status is what lets you stay in the country. So even if you have valid status, you cannot get into the country if you don't have a visa. I hope that clears up any confusion. So let's talk about the steps I took to get my H1B visa stamp. So I'm going to call this like step 0. The very first thing you should do is go to ustraveldocs.com. This is an online website that's an excellent starting point. It has a ton of helpful information and direct links to forms such as the DS-160 and links to scheduling visa appointments. It's also tailored for specific countries. So if you're a UK citizen and you want to look at the steps for a UK citizen to get a non-immigrant visa in the US, then there's an option to click on that. Personally, I always use it whenever I have to renew a visa or get a new visa, as it's a great place to start. Another thing before you get started on the visa stamping process is make sure that you actually have your H1B visa. Your employer's lawyers should have already told you if your H1B was successful, but you should also have the original copy of the I-797 in your hand. This is a pretty important form. It's basically your approval notice that your H1B petition has been approved. Alright, so now that you have your I-797, you know you're on H1B, let's get into the process of getting a visa stamped. So the very first thing you need to do is fill out the DS-160 form, which is the application form for your non-immigrant visa. This form is obviously a lengthy form, goes through your background and what type of visa you're applying for. The nice thing is that you can save this form and come back to it. Just remember to always jot down your application ID. When you are filling out this form, you're going to have to upload a US-sized passport photo, so make sure you have that on you. Now once you filled out the form, make sure you jot down the confirmation number, print out the confirmation page, because you're going to need this for your interview later on. Now the second thing to do is pay the visa fee. So once you fill out the DS-160 form, it's actually going to prompt you to pay the visa application fee. Now it's important to remember that this fee is non-refundable whether your visa is rejected or accepted. So just something to keep in mind before you proceed. Another thing is that after you pay the visa fee, make sure you jot down the receipt, screenshot it, print it, just have it in your records. So now that you have the DS-160 form and you have the receipt for your visa application fee, you can finally get on to scheduling your interview. When you schedule your interview, make sure you choose a consulate that you can actually get to. So think about which consulate you want to apply to. Remember, all consulates are different. Some consulates may not even distribute the visa you want. So it's really important that you know where you're going, you know what they offer before you proceed. So when I went to schedule the interview at the consulate of my choice, I was actually redirected from an interview to the mail-in option. Now, once again, this is different for every consulate, but in my case, because I had a US visa before, I didn't have to attend the interview and I just had to do the mail-in option. I didn't even have an option to book an interview. They sent me directly to mail-in. So they gave me different instructions for mail-in, but the forms were the same. So mail-in is just one of the alternatives. I've also heard of a Dropbox method where individuals will drop off their paperwork at the consulate and not attend the interview. In my case, I just had to express post my documents to the consulate. However, I had to be in the country to do this, so I couldn't do this from the US. Once you've scheduled your interview or you've figured out how to mail in your documents, the fourth step is to gather your documents. Now, this is a very important step because you don't want to attend your interview and realize that you've forgotten something. Or in my case, you don't want to be ready to ship off your package and realize you're missing your passport. In my case, I have it written down. I needed my I-129, my visa application receipt, the original passport, not a photocopy, the DS-160 confirmation page, a physical US passport photo, the I-797 form, and then I needed an employment verification form or letter. Now that you've gathered your forms, you can go and attend your interview. Now, like I said, I just mailed it in. I didn't actually attend the interview, but from reading online, I've heard some common questions are, why did you choose this company? How was the work you do related to your field? When you're answering these questions, just be honest. Try not to stress out. You just want to give honest, clear, and concise answers. If you have any hesitancy, make sure you get them out before you attend your interview. Talk to your employer's lawyers, or even talk to the consulate directly if something's not clear. Don't refer to Reddit or YouTube. I'm just sharing my personal experience. The lawyers are the ones that know the stuff. After you've attended your interview, mailed it in, or done the Dropbox, all you can do now is wait. You've done everything in your power that you can, so all you have to do is wait. I can share my personal experience about how long it took to get the visa. I left the US on December 15th, and then I arrived in my country on December 17th. This was a Sunday, so I couldn't mail anything in. So I mailed it in on December 18th, which was a Monday, and then I received an email from the consulate saying they required additional documents. On December 18th, I gathered the required documents and then I sent it later in the day. Also within that email, they sent me a link to a status tracker, and I can put the link up here if I remember. It's to track the status of your visa application. So it should start by saying application open or application is ready. I don't really remember. Once I sent the new mail, I got a little bit unlucky here. So I sent it on December 18th, but then my mail actually got lost. There was a tracking code on it, but there was something wrong with the barcode and it got lost in the system. Luckily, after calling, we did find it and they were able to redirect it to the US consulate. Unfortunately, it got delivered on December 24th, which is a US public holiday. So since it is a US consulate, they run on the US holiday system, and it was closed on the 24th. So my new package didn't get there until the 27th, because the 26th is a public holiday in my home country. So it got there on the 27th. The 27th, I believe, was a Friday. 28, 29, and then the 30th was a Monday. My status online got updated from application open to refused. I was a little bit concerned here, but I thought maybe there was a delay in the processing because they needed additional documents. The next day, on Tuesday, December 31st, it was New Year's Eve, but they were still working, and it got updated to approved. Now, approved just means approved. It's not ready to get picked up yet. So on January 2nd, it got updated from approved to issued, which means, okay, the visa has the stamp and it's ready to be picked up. Now, once again, every consulate is different. In my case, I did not pick up the visa from the consulate because the consulate I went to does not do that. They work with a third party, and you go to that third party to pick up your passport. So I had to wait for an email from that third party saying, hey, your passport is ready, print out this email confirmation, and then come pick it up. So I flew from my hometown to the town where the consulate was and picked up my visa. And then, had the visa in my hand. I made sure that the visa was stamped, and then, it was good to go to the US. So there you have it. Once you have your visa stamped in the passport, you're good to go to the US and work for your H1B employer. Just remember that this process takes time. I mean, from the time I did the DS-160 to actually picking up my passport was over a period of months. So just be patient, talk to your lawyers, talk to the consulate if you have any questions or concerns. That's all I have for today. I hope you found this helpful, and good luck on your H1B journey. Thanks for watching.